Welcome to Laughter and Enlightenment here at Radio Northern Beaches 88.7 or 90.3 FM, or you can live stream through the website rnb.org.au or through the app TuneIn Radio. Welcome to the show. I'm very excited this week. I have a very special guest. He is comedian, voiceover artist, devoted dad and author, or perhaps Father of the Year, Simon Kennedy.
Thank you, Shaz. I can't. My brother actually pointed out once that because my wife put a post up on Facebook recently of me making the kids' book week costumes, and she said Father of the Year, blah blah blah. And my brother came on and said, "You can't nominate yourself as Father of the Year." I said, "Well, I didn't. It was my wife. Pay attention." So that was not me saying I'm Father of the Year.
Okay. Well, she would know. Else. She's your wife. She would know if you were Father of the Year or not.
Well, I'm Father of the Year in this house. So that is something.
That is something. That's an accolade.
It's something here.
We can all be very proud of. And I'm very, very proud to have you on the show, Simon.
Thank you, mate.
And Simon had to go away to, was it Cambodia and Vietnam?
Oh, yeah, Vietnam. I had to go to Vietnam, and that was, I was working on a ship, actually.
On a ship?
I had to work on a ship.
Yes.
And that was, I had to fly to Vietnam to get on the ship. So that was good. I'd never been to Vietnam, and it was a couple of days I got to see Ho Chi Minh City, so it was good.
I think some of your Instagram posts had some interesting photos of some men lying back on various vehicles on the street, looking like male models.
There was a phenomena of older Vietnamese gentlemen like lounging on their scooters. It was and like lying back, and some of them looked like they could have been, I don't know, sort of Renaissance era beauties. Like the way they were reclining.
They were draped.
Yeah, it was like a Botticelli kind of thing.
You don't expect that in Vietnam.
Yeah, no, I didn't. So I did. I posted a few, and I had my hashtag on that was I think men of Ho Chi Minh or something. Or the men of Vietnam.
They could have done a calendar.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It could have been a charity calendar.
If I only got 12 of them, I don't think I did.
You got quite a few.
Yeah.
Were they drivers or they were just lounging?
Well, I think they were the guys who owned the scooters, and they were just having a break.
Yeah. Uber scooter drivers?
Yeah, I don't
Possibly?
know. Or
you don't know. Didn't get that far.
Just tired men. I'm not sure.
Well, you'd know all about being a tired man. You're extremely busy.
I try to be. I think I look busier than I am, though.
Yeah. Well, the perception is reality, and that's always good.
Yeah, I work solidly for a good half hour to an hour at a time.
Well, we're supposed to get up and take a break, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, I
walk around.
I've basically designed my life, Shaz, so I only really work for like an hour at most, and then it's done.
Yeah.
So half hour, if you talk about stand-up comedy, so that could be half hour, 40 minutes. So, and then I'm done. I'm over.
That's it.
People say it's the hardest job in the world, stand-up comedy. I go, no, not really. I just finished a week's work there.
Yeah. Once you get it organised and you know what you're doing, you just do it.
I say it's the hardest job in the world if you're crap at it.
That's it.
Then it's hard. So everything is hard.
That's it.
If you're no good.
So were you on a cruise coming back from Vietnam, and you did, how many shows would that be?
I think I did 5 shows. And it was actually a ship that was going from Ho Chi Minh to Koh Samui. Oh, no, to Singapore.
Right.
Yeah, but it did stop at Koh Samui in the middle. Yeah, so I actually did it. I tend not to do too many of those these days, but ships, that is.
Yeah.
But I was so interested in the itinerary, so I thought I'd like to go to Vietnam and have a look around.
I imagine when you were a younger man without the responsibilities of a family, that kind of work would have been very exciting.
It would have, but I don't think I would have been good enough.
Oh, right.
I don't think I would have had 5 shows in me back then.
They're all different shows.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's like working.
That is working.
Yeah. So now I've got the shows, but now I like being at home. So
it's finding a happy medium, isn't it?
Exactly.
And you're also a voiceover artist, Simon.
Yeah. So that's my day job. So I say if a Batman was a comedian, then Bruce Wayne is the voiceover artist. So during the day, that's my personality, and I love doing that. Like I do. I really enjoy talking. I like the sound of my own voice.
Well, it's a varied sounding voice. Because you are the actual voiceover artist that can do different accents and different characters.
Yeah.
And very
I love
nice.
that.
I like your radio voice too.
Thank you, radio. Welcome to the show. Actually, I used to be on radio, but I didn't sound like that because that's not really how they want people to sound.
Not anymore.
No, it was actually kind of just like this. This is just being me.
Yeah.
That's how it is now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, people would put on a voice, and that's gone away, that fashion, thank God, because it's kind of awful.
Was it a pseudo-British Australian voice back in the day?
Well, I guess through the eras that we've gone through on radio, back in the day, BBC standard was something that a lot of Australian broadcasters aspired to sound like that. It's not British and it's not Australian. It's somewhere in between.
Welcome to television.
Yes. Welcome to the ABC. So that was a thing, to sound very pronounced. And then shock jocks, they just want to sound big and bold and let's take a call. John Law's going to kick that off.
Valvoline.
Yeah, Valvoline. And also in commercial FM radio, there was a real trend towards deep voices. And I never had a deep voice. I could get to deep as you get older, but I never had a deep voice. So I thought I'll never make it. I'll never be on Triple M. Go on Triple M, non-stop blocker classic rock. Didn't sound like that.
No.
Yeah.
And how did you get into this kind of work, Simon? When you were a young man growing up, did you look at show business as an avenue to work, or did you fall into this by accident? Did you study something else after school?
No, there was a pull. There was always a pull towards it for me. I liked being a bit of a attention seeker at school. I was a bit of a class clown, as the cliche goes, and I liked entertaining people. I liked the feeling that would come from the audience reactions. So that became addictive, and I think I just kept leaning towards it. And for me, radio in my early 20s seemed like more of a practical kind of job, if that makes any sense, compared to other show business things. It felt like a 5-day-a-week job you could do it.
Yeah.
That was kind of, that was entertainment. So that's why I sort of lent towards it. And I went to the Australian Film, Television and Radio School in my early 20s and went into radio. I went and worked in Northwest and Slopes and Plains. I worked at Moree for 2 years on radio.
In Moree?
Yeah, in Moree, where they're suffering with some nasty drought right now. But 2 years. And I realised that I don't want to just play records and talk in between them. I really wanted to do more. I grew up listening to Doug Mulray and Club Veg, right? These kind of guys who made comedy, sketch comedy on the radio, and the Goons. And I thought, that's what I'll do. And by the time I finished radio school, no one wanted that anymore.
Oh, okay.
They just wanted you to shut up and play the music. So so it didn't happen. So I left radio completely, and started being a stand-up comedian.
Well, how were you working at that time while you were being the early days of the stand-up?
Oh, yeah.
Before the big lucrative amounts of money came flowing in, yes.
I worked a few jobs. I was working in the back office of the Board of Studies, New South Wales Board of Studies.
Right.
Doing some mind-numbing sorting of paperwork.
Yes.
I also got a job at Fox Studios when they started up their theme park. I got a job there acting as an officer on the Titanic.
Really? I say.
Yeah, I actually played Reginald Barker, who was the purser on board the Titanic.
Is that a real person?
Genuine person,
Genuine name.
So I played Reginald Barker, and I was introducing the ship to the people who'd come on and welcoming people to the Titanic. It was kind of like a ride, kind of like a show. I don't know if anyone ever went to it. It's gone now. And it was kind of fun, but disappointing.
Did it move around?
Yeah.
So at what point was it in the Titanic story? Was it at the beginning when you just left?
It was an expedited sort of, an expedited, I should say, version of sort of the whole story. So you'd
Consolidate.
the punters would board the ship
Yeah.
up the gangplank. So
Yeah.
welcome aboard the Titanic, ding, ding, ding. And
Oh,
they'd get
yes.
on. Then they'd walk into the third class common room where they were addressed by the purser, who would be me. Then maybe 5 minutes later,
They sank.
we hit an iceberg.
Oh,
So it was
dear.
like, oh, that went well. And then people would run off to lifeboats or down to the boiler room and die. So good times.
Good family fun.
Yeah, good fun for everyone.
Did it shake? Did the room shake?
The room shook. It was like on a platform that the whole room would shake. The walls would burst open and water would gush in.
Actual water.
Yeah, and didn't go on to people, but it was pretty kind of cool. That was the best bit. And people would panic and scream. And then,
Well,
so
that
I was
sounds
working
like
there.
Lots of fun.
And,
Panicking.
so I was an officer, then doing comedy at night. So
So that was a good steady job, because that would
Well,
have
it
been
was actually, yeah.
quite in demand at that time when that first opened.
yeah, that theme park only lasted 2 years. The first 6 months were rather busy, so we were doing like 40 shows a day.
Goodness me.
Compare that to the last 6 months, we were doing like 2, 3, or 4 shows a day. The popularity of that park waned so much, but I had plenty of time to sit around and write jokes. And
Well, that's the main thing, isn't it?
and also it was at the same place as the Comedy Store, so which was at Fox Studios. So
Yes.
I would do that and then sit around, write jokes, and then hang around and go to the Comedy Store and do some open mic stuff. So
So you developed your work as a comedian, and you were being paid to do something that was along the lines of that profession,
so convenient.
playing Reginald. Now, what actually happened to Reginald?
He died.
He did.
He drowned.
Oh,
Most of them did.
They did, didn't they?
Yeah, sometimes I would switch roles and play First Officer Harold Lowe. That was fun because you'd be up on the first class deck.
Yeah.
But, I looked the same as Lowe as I did as Reginald Barker. So
Did you wear a little cap?
I had the whole uniform.
Oh,
Real sailor.
you would have looked very
Oh,
smart.
I did, like a real sailor. It was good time. Sometimes I'd play a boat boy if, things were
If you were a bit tight for crew members.
tight for sailors. So
Yeah.
I'd play a boat boy with the bell bottoms. But that was an easier role. You didn't have to do as much. And strangely, like we had a great mix of people on that show, people from all walks of life and showbiz. We had a wonderful bunch of gay guys that I worked with, and they almost always played boat boys.
Yeah.
And it was their preference. And
Yeah.
I asked one of them, I said, why is the boat boy thing kind of your area? Why do you guys always... And then they said, we like the outfits. So, so it was hard. It was actually hard to get in the boat. Yeah. It was a very contested spot
Oh, well.
for the bell bottoms.
But the main thing is you got paid. You got to develop your comedy act.
Yeah. So there it was.
And it was
That
a good starting point.
1999. was
Goodness me.
When I started there. And
Did you have a big celebration on New Year's Eve going into 2000?
I was in someone's garage that night.
Oh, you weren't on the boat.
No, I was drunk in someone's garage.
Oh, well, that's
In the
nice.
Northern Beaches, actually, I think it was.
Well, this is Radio Northern Beaches.
Yeah.
It may have been someone who was listening.
Actually, it was. Well, I think, to be honest, I think it was like more Forestville, but that's close. So
The show does go all the way to Forestville.
So that's it's not the beaches, but it's up there. So yeah, I think I was in a garage.
Like most people,
Yeah,
contemplating what would happen.
yeah. Then I had to wake up the next day and go and do a Titanic show
Oh, really?
on the first of the new millennia.
That's very exciting. And so how long did you do that for, Simon? A couple of years, and then were you able to move on to full-time comedy work?
It was 2 years, but what I ended up doing was working at Nova.
Yes.
Nova radio station, and that was 2001, April 2001. They launched in Sydney. It's hard to imagine that that Nova has been around for 17 odd years.
A long time.
Yeah, isn't it? And I remember I was there from the get-go, and I ended up not on doing a show, but I was writing sketch comedy kind of stuff for Nova and doing silly voices. So that became my my thing. It was fun.
Good bread and butter job.
Yeah. Also driving around in the promotional vehicles to start with, then handing out icy cold cans of Coke and whatever.
It all helps with your confidence and being able to approach people and feel at ease in that situation, which important for a job in entertainment, isn't
Talk
it?
fast,
Yeah.
think fast, and that's right. Dealing with hecklers.
Yep. What kind of music did you like back in those days, Simon?
In those
Did you have any favourite ones? We might put on one of your favourite artists.
Look, I mean, oh gee, my favourite artists over the years have always been. I mean, I grew up loving the Beatles because my parents had, some great records.
Yeah.
So the Beatles have always been my absolute favourite.
Yeah.
But as a young man, in the 80s and 90s, I was only a kid, but in the 90s, I loved Australian Crawl.
Oh,
Australian Crawl,
classic.
And James Rain. And I never lived on the beach. That's the thing. But I love that beach music. I love the beach culture. I lived in the western suburbs of Sydney, and I've got to say, Blacktown Beach, not such a good beach.
No.
But
less sand.
Very less sand, less everything. And but I loved the music. I loved Australian Crawl. There was some sort of sense of fun about it.
Yeah.
And I liked the rock. I liked that. And then and James Rain is actually still one of my favourite solo artists. You don't hear him as much on the radio anymore, but his solo song, his songwriting, singer-songwriting is really lovely. It's really nice social commentary and some great stuff, and I really like it. Yeah.
Those bands and artists really cut their teeth in the live pub circuit, didn't they?
And maybe I relate to that as a comic because we kind of do that in Sydney as well.
Yeah.
Sydney comedy is very much a rough and ready. You're thrown into the bear pit.
That's it.
In the pub, make them laugh. So
make them laugh, win them over.
Yeah. So there's probably I guess, I don't know, there's some kind of
some empathy perhaps to what they do and what they did.
Yeah, rawness about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of talent transcends generations, really. These older guys can still go to a pub or do a live show in a big arena and knock it out of the park.
Yeah, well, there's I don't know, there's not so much ego about it, and it's just the job is the job.
That's it.
Like I remember I've seen James Rain perform many times. I've seen him, at the Enmore. I've seen him, and I've seen him at like a pub in Parramatta, and he still puts on just as good a show and still gives it some, whether it's a small venue or a big venue. I think it's like, the job's the job.
Have Australian Crawl done a reunion tour yet?
No, I don't think they will though. No, I think there were falling outs. I mean, they've lost 2 band members.
Yeah.
One to cancer, I think.
That's it.
I think one to HIV back in the 80s, actually, I think. So, so there aren't enough of them left.
No,
I don't think.
no.
And then one of them's grumpy, I think, so that's another.
They've had a falling out. Let's just leave it in the past.
I think it's done.
Yes, they can do their own separate projects. So should we put on an Australian Crawl song, I think, to start off our music segment of this program? What's your favourite Australian Crawl song, Simon?
Oh, gee. Well, do we want mellow or...?
Well, we can have either mellow or something a bit more upbeat.
All right.
Preferably not one with the rude words.
Oh, they're not very sweary.
No.
No. You know what? You know what song has come to mind is "Oh No, Not You." "Oh No, Not You Again."
Oh no, not you again.
It's a beautiful song, and it reminds me of the complex nature of suburbia and relationships. I think it's a really good one.
That's a very good way of putting it. So I think we'll have Australian Crawl singing "Oh No, Not You Again." And that was Australian Crawl singing "Oh No, Not You Again."
Oh no, not you again.
No, not you again.
See, I could understand everything James Rain says.
He had a unique voice, didn't he?
Yeah, people go, "Oh, you can't understand him." I could understand it.
I almost made him sound a bit like he was a country and western singer then.
Yeah, "Oh no, not you again."
Not you again.
Yeah, no, big fan.
So, Simon, you grew up in the western suburbs of Sydney. As a boy, what were you interested in? Were you always going to be interested in more drama and performing, or were you interested in art? Did you play sport?
I was really not sporty. I was a bit of a fat kid, I guess, as well.
Yeah, so was I.
Yeah.
And it comes and goes with me.
That's right.
I've been on a diet for 30 years.
I've got to be careful.
Yeah.
And I liked drawing. I really liked drawing. I was a bit artistic. I think I always thought that I might do something, visual. And I wasn't really a performer as a little fellow, although when I was in primary school, I did get a pretty major role playing Jesus in the Passion Play.
Oh, goodness.
So, I've really
leading role.
Peaked early. You can't go anywhere from there.
No.
But it wasn't really a passion. But high school, I started to really, crave something. But I did goof off for my friends, but it was never really. I didn't think of it as a career.
No.
So I never knew what I was going to do. No. And I've got an 8-year-old son now who I think is a bit like me in the sense, not that he's going to be a comedian or a performer, but I don't think he really knows what he wants to do. But I know he just likes drawing and playing Lego. And I think, quite frankly, that's what I like doing as well when I was a little guy.
You never know that he could make a career out of that.
Why
in some
not?
area.
Could be a builder.
In this day and age.
Master builder.
That's it. And your children do have some leanings towards the arts because they're often in TV commercials and they do voiceover work, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And that makes sense because my wife's an actor and she's a voiceover
Family
artist.
trade, really,
yeah,
isn't it?
It's normal in our house to do that stuff. So our kids don't see it as odd.
No.
It's just something that's normal.
I mean, it's very good for their confidence.
Yeah.
It's very good for their presentation for whatever they end up doing in their life.
Yeah, well, they're not shy kids,
No.
you know. They'll talk the ear off anyone.
And they have fun doing this, don't they?
They do. My daughter loves it. My son, I said, "You love it?" And he goes, "Oh, I just do it for the money."
They're paying for themselves, aren't they, your kids?
Yeah, exactly.
Marvellous.
You know, get your own Lego.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, so that is, and it is normal in our house. The only one in our house who hasn't pulled their weight in the entertainment business is probably the cat. So
The cat. Well, there's still time.
Yeah, so get on with it, Edna.
So we want Edna. So if you're looking for a cat, what kind of cat is Edna?
Edna is a hairless cat. She's a sphinx.
Okay.
And that is unusual. A lot of people, you either think they're hideous or you like them. Yeah. She's not a nice person, though, I must say.
Not the cuddly type?
She's not a nice person, no.
No.
She's really up herself. She thinks she owns the place.
She knows she's a unique version of the cat.
Special. Well,
is that the same cat that Dr. Evil had in those
yes,
Austin Powers?
same breed of cat.
Okay.
Yeah, which so people are like, ew. I like it. I mean, I'm bald. Not you can tell from the radio, but
No.
I'm a bald man, and so I think that's normal to have a bald cat.
You fit in really well together.
Yeah, we match.
So the family that acts together stays together.
I think so. I think that's So maybe one day she'll get a gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be in demand. There's not many hairless cats around.
So if any cat acting agents out there.
Yes, anyone listening on Radio Northern Beaches, because we have listeners from all over the world. If you need a hairless Edna, please get in touch and we'll put you in touch with Simon Kennedy.
We'll do my best.
Yeah. And what other things do you like to do with your family to keep fit and healthy, Simon? Do you go walking? Do you go hiking?
We do. Bushwalking's good with the kids.
Yeah.
Just get out. And you forget how much kids actually enjoy that.
Nature.
They do. They like, oh, look at that. So we do that. For me to keep fit, I do yoga.
You do yoga?
Yeah.
Do you do a type of yoga?
Yeah, vinyasa, which is, keeps you moving. It gets the heart rate going and keeps you moving. But it's also, can be, it's good for a man with a bit of a stiff back.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Bit of a stretch?
It's all I do.
Is that the hot one?
No,
not necessarily the
I
hot
have done
one.
that, Bikram yoga.
Yes.
I've done that. It's very sweaty and gross. The rooms stink.
I couldn't stand that.
I actually did that for 2 years and then realised, why the hell am I doing that?
Did it help your back?
Actually, not as much as regular sort of yoga, vinyasa yoga. Yeah, so which is why I'm doing that now. And
I think I'd just be in there trying to avoid all the sweat.
there's so much sweat.
I just couldn't handle that.
It's disgusting. Yeah, it is gross. Very sweaty. Not a fan. Sorry if you're out there and you go to the local, Bikram at Brookvale. I'm just not a fan.
I guess some people like it and it works for them.
That's right. If it's good for you, then good.
Yes.
For you.
But some essential oils are needed to be sprayed around the room.
Man, that's some Glen 20.
Oh dear.
But yeah, so yoga for me. And we do walk around with the kids, like bushwalking is a kind of there's so much around Sydney. Like,
There is,
there's
isn't
so
there?
many, yeah.
You actually forget what a great city it is and how much there is to offer until you have a friend from interstate or overseas. And you say, look, we'll walk across the Harbour Bridge. It's completely free. You can have a beautiful view. Let's do this. Let's go on the Manly Ferry.
You go to Lane Cove National Park. You go to, around, you got Manly Dam. You got all these great places.
Do you have a little bit of a barbecue when you go walking?
Nah.
Just take a
Too much
backpack with a
effort.
bottle of water.
Yeah, throw some sangers in a bag. And
That's it.
yeah, it's easier.
Yes. And you like cooking, don't you, Simon?
Oh, it's compulsory, really.
Yes.
I don't mind it. I like cooking. I like cooking with as little instrumentation as possible. I like to do everything in one pot if possible. I'm
That's it.
really about cooking without cleaning. My wife uses every pan in the house just to cook one steak. And I try and minimal. That's why I'm big on the old slow cooker.
Yes.
That slow cooker is the best invention
That's right.
ever.
And we were saying earlier before the interview that the slow cookers used to be called a crock pot, I believe.
They were. They were even made by Cambrooke,
Yes.
I believe, made them. And in conjunction with Monier. Now, Monier are a brick company, right? And we had one, and it was Cambrooke/Monier.
Yes.
So Monier would make the actual ceramic pot that goes inside.
Yeah.
And Cambrooke how's that?
It was a collaboration of a pot.
A brick and a pot.
That's
all
amazing.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you like to put in your pots, Simon, to feed the family? Do you have a varied
I like
ingredient list for your pot
the best
food?
thing. The best thing I reckon you can do is like lamb shanks or something.
Yes.
Bloody good. So
Yes. Yes.
good. And then to the disgust of my wife, then you suck the marrow out of the bone,
Yes.
and that's
Well, you
good.
wouldn't do that on a first date, would you? You'd do that in
No.
an established relationship.
Well, we're established.
You're well established now.
I know we are.
There's
we're-
no going back. So.
We're coming on 20 years together.
Oh
so
my goodness, that's marvellous, isn't it?
There's nothing I do that impresses her now.
No.
Nothing at all.
You don't need to try.
She's not interested.
No. Do the vacuuming. That's the best thing you can do.
Well, I mean, when you get married, a lot of people or long-term relationships, I say, for a man, is you realise how wrong you are, And I've discovered things about myself since I've been married, such as I breathe too loudly.
Yes.
I snore. I didn't know that
No.
until I woke up with bruised ribs, and now I chew too loudly.
Yeah.
That happened this morning. I was chewing my cornflakes, and she just looked at me like, "No, really?"
Yeah.
My mouth was shut.
It's good to know these things.
Well, what am I going to do? How can I
You
change
need them
that?
pointed out,
But
Simon.
how do I choose quieter? My mouth's shut. The only way is to muffle things by wearing some kind of helmet.
Maybe you just need to swallow it whole.
Oh God,
Let your internal organs just do the rest.
that's just not okay.
No.
Yeah.
I know. The other option is, of course, earplugs.
For her,
For her.
you'll leave the room. That's it.
How about separate breakfast bars?
Yeah.
One at either end of the house.
Well, that's it. We're really just going down the road of me moving out, aren't we?
Otherwise, I'd just recommend porridge, possibly for the next
Yeah.
40 years or so, while you're still together.
porridge. That's
Good old porridge. Remember porridge?
Yes, we still have porridge.
Bit of porridge with brown sugar on it.
Oh God,
Whole
now,
cream milk.
That's where
Those
it's
were
at.
the days.
Brown sugar.
Oh,
That's it.
just melts in your mouth.
Bloody good.
Yeah,
All right,
no.
that's tomorrow.
I have my organic egg and some spinach leaves nowadays, but that beautiful porridge with the whole the milk on
Yeah.
full cream milk that had the layer of
The cream
fat
top.
on it, the cream.
Yeah.
That was the best milk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Growing up,
It's a shock now because every now and then you can get that, can't you? The
makes
milk.
you feel sick though.
Well, when you put it in your tea or coffee, and you're like, why is there oil floating in the top
Yes.
of my tea?
I'm sure it's not very good for
What's
us in the
that?
long run.
It's awful.
No, that high cholesterol and high fat,
Yeah, it's gross.
not very good. You'd have to do a lot of walking to burn that off.
A lot of bushwalks.
That's it. Well, on that happy note, we might play another song, Simon. How about something to get the listeners up and jumping around to burn off their high fat, high
yeah.
cholesterol milks?
Oh, delightful.
Yeah.
Okay.
You think of a song that you like. Now, in yoga, obviously, is it all quiet? Or do they have a chime going or some whale music, or is it just silent?
Oh, they do play music. Sometimes you get contemporary music, but it's generally of a certain vibe.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Wouldn't get you jumping around.
No. So we're looking for something that will get everyone up, jumping around, feeling energetic, on Laughter and Enlightenment, because we want laughter and we also
Yes.
want to learn something.
All right. Well,
and become
okay.
enlightened by
something
it.
funny, fun. Well,
Do you like Kylie Minogue or
nah, she's okay, but dancing. Hang on. What makes me go?
Rolling Stones? Is there a good Beatles song?
Yeah, I was thinking of Beatles.
What was a good Beatles song
Well-
that you could have a bit of a disco dance to?
Well, I don't think there are many Beatles songs you could dance to, but you know what?
when I was
is-
only
is-
16.
When I was 64.
No.
Maybe
she was just 17. I knew it was a number of some sort.
I saw her standing there.
That's it.
Well, you know what I was thinking about? Now, this might sound really macabre, but it's a really upbeat song.
Yeah.
About a really dark subject. Maxwell's Silver Hammer. I love that song.
Well, if you love that song,
and it's
we're
so
going to put
twisted.
it on.
It's really, I mean, it's sort of, I've always wondered why they didn't make a movie out of it. It's about a young boy who kills everyone with a hammer. And
that's it.
And it's kind of amusing.
Yeah.
Which is an insight to my mind.
Sort of has a happy ending, really.
Well,
no, it doesn't.
No,
for the boy, it does.
Everyone dies.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
But it's such a happy song. That's why I like it, because it's a really, uplifting tune about a very nasty character. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the irony of life.
That is the irony of life.
Maxwell's Silver Hammer.
Please introduce that for us. Would you like to do that, Simon?
Well, here it is. The Beatles, my favourite band of all time, with Maxwell's Silver Hammer. Enjoy.
And that was Maxwell Silver. I was going to say Maxwell Smart from Get Smart.
Sorry about that, chick.
Maxwell Silver Hammer with sung by the Beatles. Oh, I'm just
bang, bang,
reeling
Maxwell
from all of
Silver
that.
Hammer.
All those lyrics now that you've explained it to me.
Yes, well, and all the thought of him sneaking up behind people and smacking them on the head with his silver hammer.
Upbeat yet
Good times.
poignant. Yeah, that's it.
Good times.
Well, they were excellent story writers, weren't they?
Absolutely.
And I believe Paul McCartney still goes and does live shows.
I saw him
doesn't he?
At Homebush, and he was amazing.
A couple of years ago, was it?
No, this last November, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
It was brilliant. It was so good. How old was he? Like in his late 70s, and he's awesome.
They don't need to retire. Like Cher's 72 now. She's on the road. She's doing 2-hour shows.
Her face
doesn't stop dancing.
Her face isn't 72.
We're not sure what age that would be. And Simon, what else do you do to keep fit and well apart from doing some exercise? Do you do anything to relieve your stress levels? Do you like doing some deep breathing exercises?
No,
do you
pretty
read?
Chilled. I'm pretty chilled. Like, I don't have sort of high anxiety most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, leading into certain events, I might get a little tense, but generally speaking, I'm at a pretty even sort of ebb.
Yeah.
So I don't have to manage my
things in your life
stress.
are going very well.
Well, they're going great. I mean, I've sort of learned quite a few years ago that happiness is, something right in front of you. You don't have to go and find it. You just have to choose it in a sense, And I'm a very happy person.
Yes.
I am. Despite many occurrences in my life and things that happen that aren't great, I'm happy because I've got my health, I've got my family, and they're great. And
you have a career that you enjoy.
Yeah, I am.
And that you're talented at.
Thank you. But
and
I'm
also
lucky.
very well respected.
Am I?
Because some people
Did someone
can
say something?
Yes. Some people can be talented or gifted at something and be very unpopular and no one likes them.
Yeah.
Because they're difficult to work with.
Yeah.
Or they're actually really unpleasant. But you cross the board and get the ticks from everyone.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, I'm not, I'm not a household name, but that doesn't bother me because I get to do what I like. I used to, when I was a young man, I'll be honest, I used to be craving that sort of status. I used to, I think a lot of people do in show business. I'm like, I really want to be, the one that everyone's talking about. And now I'm like, I mean, if that happens, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever, but I get to make a living.
Yeah.
And I get to go home to my family. I get to pay the bills doing good, fun stuff. So
that's right. And it's uplifting everyone around you when you do something that's funny. Because
good.
as we know, laughter is extremely good for our emotional health and also our physical health.
Yeah. So I'm a happy person generally.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to ask you, Simon, you're an author and you wrote a book called, would you like to tell the listeners what the book was called?
9/11 and the Art of Happiness, which is funny. I mentioned happiness already.
That's right.
And that is a book I wrote, which is a memoir, and it's basically a memoir of 10 years of my life from September 11, 2001, which we all know what happened on that day, to September 11, 2011. Is that right? Yeah, that's what it makes
10
sense.
years.
Yes,
Yeah,
10 years.
adding it up.
And I know my maths is a shocker. And it was basically me writing my account of losing my mum in the September 11 attacks.
Yeah.
She was on Flight 77, which crashed into the Pentagon. And look, I mean, writing that was a great experience for me because I think it made me realise what I'd gone through and what I was capable of. So when you write down your life, it's like a stock take, and I realised at the end of that stock take that I had a lot to be grateful for. So sometimes I think calling myself an author is a bit of a fraud because I've only written that one book. Though I am working on some kids titles at the moment. I hope to get up and running. But but it's something I'm quite proud of, and I do. Hope people get something out of it, and that's one of the best things about writing it is when I get a message from someone who's read it online saying, "Hey, thanks for writing that because it helped me with this or whatever," and or it was great to get an insight from someone who's been there, and so not one day do I regret putting that out there.
It's an excellent book, Simon.
Thank you.
And I know that you put your heart and soul into it. And I think it must have been initially quite difficult to get started on. But you took your time. You didn't write it straight away.
No.
After the event. You took some years, didn't you?
It did. I think I didn't start writing until about 2009 or 10. Yeah, like it was quite a while.
What prompted you to take the time to write that?
Well, it was always in the back of my mind that there was a story, but I think I felt a little bit funny about it. I think I felt that might be exploitative. I was always worried that, people go, oh, he's just trying to cash in on it. And then I realised that, well, it's no one's business why I'm writing it. People are going to judge me regardless. So I'll just put it out there and put the story out there. And so I wrote it with no... I didn't want pity from anyone, and I just wanted people to share the experience and hopefully get something out of that. So it was weird though because my wife actually had taken me to see John Edward, the psychic medium.
Yes.
And because she said, "Oh, are you curious about that?" And I'm like, you know what? I don't know if he's the real deal, and I think the only way you would know is if you were there and he was talking to you
in person to see it.
Yeah.
Was this in Sydney, Simon?
In Sydney.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm 100% sold because I do know that there are people who cold read and do those sort of things and certain cleverness to it. But we did sit down and we did have him kind of talk to us directly, and it was quite, to be honest, if he's a fraud, he's very good.
Yeah.
And he just pulled things apart that I'm like, how do you even know that? So I was impressed. And anyway, something came out of it about writing, and that sort of just made me go, all right, I'm going to write. I'm going to do this thing. So it was just a kick in the pants, actually.
So it was an idea you had for a while, and then you had that moment where you went, just... have a go. I'll just get started.
Yeah. So there it was. Yeah.
Because as you may or may not know, I'm writing my own book at the moment. I've done some multi-author books.
Yes, you're
and
busy writer.
Yes, I'm trying to be a busy writer, although procrastination is more of an apt word at the moment. But do you have any tips for someone who's writing a full-length book?
Yeah,
what kind of writing tips do you have that would get someone started and then get them to complete the project?
Well, first of all, just get in, just jump into it and write, no matter how crap you think what you're writing is, and just write it. Put it down, like purge. I honestly think just purge.
Yeah.
Get it all out and don't edit yourself as you go. Like just get it all out, get as much out as, let it flow.
Do you mean chapter by chapter or just straight up?
I think just straight up, just get it all out. Especially if you're writing memoir, just write as everything you can think of and everything you remember. Then you go back. Then you'll go back and edit later. I find editing is easier than the initial creation. So if you've got something on the page, then it's easier to tinker with it.
Yes,
if you don't, what do you?
You've got nothing.
You're staring at a blank page. So just purge. Write because I wrote probably, my book's about 80,000 words.
Yeah.
About 80,000 words. I initially wrote over 100,000 words. So
Goodness
so
me.
I edited out.
You had
over
more
20
than
odd
enough.
words. Yeah. So it's amazing what doesn't go in.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's like a film. There's a lot of cuts in a film before it becomes the finished product.
Yeah, people go, do we need that in there?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
And it's hard sometimes when you've created it. You're like, oh, but I really like it.
yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it doesn't need to be there. It's like, yeah, it's just how it is.
And how long did that process take from that moment where you decided to do it to when you held the book in your hand, Simon? Did you have a
Oh, wow. Well, the book
couple of
didn't
years?
actually get published and released until, I think, 2014. So, yeah, so it was a few years. Like, I mean, it probably took me a couple of years to write it, on and off. I might have been writing 2 days a week or 3 days a week or something like that, because I still had other things I was doing. Yeah. And then shopping it around took a while. Yeah. And, I was rejected by heaps of people. So that's hard.
Do you think it was a good amount of time so that you were more emotionally able to talk about the situation?
Yeah.
If it had come out much earlier, you may not have been ready.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that
Absolutely.
was the right timing?
Because I was in essence in hiding from that reality in my life that my mother had perished in the 9/11 attacks. That was something I was keeping to myself. I was keeping it a secret because I didn't want to be defined by it. I was trying to be a comedian. I was trying to do all this stuff, and I didn't want that hanging over me and having people go, "Oh, he's that 9/11 guy as well."
That's it.
And I also wanted privacy for my family. My family aren't in show business. They're not in the public eye. They don't want to be in the public eye, so they shouldn't have to be.
Yeah.
The media can be very intrusive and feel that it's their right to talk about you and your experience and talk to you about it. And I don't believe that is the case. I think if a family of a victim of something want to be unnamed and left alone, then they should be allowed to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, they're not the news.
No.
Like, the grieving family are not the news.
No.
And I've always believed that, and I still believe that today. And I didn't want to be the news. I wanted to get on with my life as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shock, and it takes a long time to process. And I know you work through, as the title of the book suggests, anger and grief to get to that point of choosing to be happy again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see people around me all the time who are struggling with finding happiness. That is, that they're always looking for something at the end of the rainbow that's not going to be there. People who I know who are well off people with a lot of money, and they're always chasing something else, and at the expense of their personal
They're looking for an
relationships.
external source of the happiness, aren't they?
They are, and it's not there.
A distraction almost.
It's not there. And it's happiness is you finding contentment in your life with what you have and who you are. And if you have to live your whole life in a mud hut, as many people in this world do, does that mean you can never be happy? And the answer is no. Of course you can be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you like to focus on to bring through that feeling of happiness or contentment? Do you find being grateful or thankful for what you do have?
Yeah.
Just
exactly.
it's the basic stuff, isn't it?
It is. I mean,
focusing on that.
That's right. And there's no doubt that if you suffer loss in your life, that shatters your happiness. It can be absolutely awful. Like, your family are so special to you. If you lose someone, that hurts, and it takes a while to recover. So not saying that nothing can make you unhappy, but you know where to go back to after the storm has passed, so to speak. Yeah, and for me, it's finding gratitude in what I do have, not what I don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you proud of yourself for writing the book and finding that resilience?
Yeah.
I hope you are.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean that I'm a perfect human being.
No, of course not.
And I would far from want anyone to think that he's just got life nailed. 'Cause,
No.
I'm not.
No one
I
does.
don't. I make mistakes, I annoy my wife, and
as we've heard earlier, with the cornflakes.
Yeah, I mean, I love it a bit, but we have our disagreements, and we have to still get through that.
That's it.
So it doesn't mean that I don't have those challenges, but I'm willing to face those challenges and deal with them. And, that's life.
Very wise words, and I'm sure you're going to look forward to a long, happy marriage, ultimately to your elder years.
Yes.
With the grandkids bouncing
right.
on your lap.
Can you imagine? Oh, God.
Oh, how wonderful.
My lap would be broken.
Well, that's what the yoga's for. Keep yourself flexible.
That's right. Look out for me being an old
Put them
yogi.
over on your shoulder and off you go.
That's right.
Hiking off with the grandkids into the woods.
That's it.
Or in Australia, into the bush or the scrub.
Into the creek. Down the
creek. That's wonderful.
Looking for some tadpoles.
And are you going on any more cruises during the year, Simon?
Oh, maybe one
occasionally.
Later in the year.
Maybe a Christmas cruise with the family, and you can do a working trip.
I've done that. That's the trickery of this comedy life, is where you can manage to string it all together.
How do we find out more about you, Simon? What's your website?
Well, you know what? Facebook is just
Facebook's
easy,
isn't it?
Simon Kennedy Comedian. And if that's confusing to remember, just simonkennedy.com and you'll find me.
And what about your book, Simon?
Well, 9/11 and the Art of Happiness. It is available on Kindle.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can order it through all good bookstores and the crap ones too. So, but if you're digital,
That's right. Have you done an audio book for that, Simon?
No, but I'm actually talking about doing that now, which is
That's
funny.
That's the big trend everyone's talking about.
As I talk for a living, it seemed weird for me not to voice my own audiobook.
Yes.
If someone else did, it'd be strange.
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler and Amy Schumer, they've all done audiobooks.
Yeah.
So why not Simon Kennedy?
Well, I mean, if someone else spoke my story that was written in my words, that would be weird.
That would be weird.
Wouldn't it?
You don't need it.
Like if I got someone to voice my own book, that wasn't me. I'd want it to be someone fairly iconic. So,
Maybe Jerry Seinfeld.
Seinfeld,
Yeah. Or Chris Rock.
That's my Seinfeld.
Yeah, I could see that.
Christopher Walken.
That's why he earns the big bucks, everyone. Yeah, you could get anyone, though. But I have heard and been told by big publishing companies that the audio books, or in the olden days, talking books, are very useful nowadays. People listen to them in the car.
That's right.
If you're time poor, you can play them in the car and you can learn something.
Yeah, well, that's right. People go for a walk, a jog, and whatever.
Yeah, I've often done that, and I find that much easier than listening to talkback radio or anything aggressive or obnoxious callers. You learn something, and you can really pick up some useful tips.
That's true. I think if you want a nice, relaxing walk, get an audio book. I don't think Ray Hadley's going to make you feel good.
No. I'd just like to thank you very much for being on Laughter and Enlightenment this week.
Thank you.
I used to formerly call the show Shaz's Laughter Hour.
Yeah, right.
And I changed the title recently because I found a lot of my conversations and interviews were quite meaningful.
Yeah.
And enlightening.
And you thought that Shazza just didn't...
It just doesn't fit it so much.
No?
It sort of sounds like a drunken woman on a bar stool telling jokes. And I thought, no, that's not what the program's about.
Fair enough. I mean, if you do go, if you say, I want you to go to this spiritual healer. And you say, what's her name? They go, Shazza. And you're like... Yeah, no, I'm probably good actually.
Does she work out of a garage?
Yeah.
With her 10 children to 6 different men and
it does feel that way, doesn't
it? A beer bottle?
What's in a name?
That's it. Perception is very important.
Yeah, a rose by any other name would still be Shazza.
She's still here.
Yeah, you are.
Slightly more enlightened.
Thank you, Shazza.
So I'd like to say thank you very much, Simon Kennedy, for being on the show. And let's give him a round of applause, everyone.
Yay. Thank you.
We've laughed and we've become slightly enlightened.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Shaz's Laughter Hour.
Please look up Simon Kennedy Comedian on Facebook and you can learn more about him and also look up his gig guides. And you play in the Northern Beaches too, don't you?
Often, yeah. I was at Manly Boat Shed recently and I'll be doing others. So don't, fret.
Don't despair. He's coming over the bridge.
I'll be back.
And until next week on Thursday 6 to 7 p.m, we'll be back with Laughter Enlightenment here at Radio Northern Beaches 88.7 or 90.3 FM or live stream through the website at rnb.org.au. And until next week, Have a happy, healthy and laughing week.